Not a whole lot to talk about. A couple videos and things I watched on YouTube earlier about it. I don't really want to go over those just for the simple fact that other YouTubers today already went over some of the issues as far as, for instance, one thing was Lyft. Lyft put in there, I saw it this morning, I kind of read part of it. They came up with a new, I guess, terms of service that every person has to agree to when driving. Some of the whole thing was really stupid, but you know what, I gotta make money, so unfortunately you have to agree to it if you want to still work for them. But I can't complain so far. I drove for 4 hours this morning, made I think $92 doing just Lyft, which is actually very odd because normally I'm used to driving Uber. But for some reason today, all of my rides in the morning, it was constantly one after the other, Lyft, 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 Lyft. I didn't even have a chance to stop. It kept adding to the queue. So on those mornings, I like to just take advantage of it and do it. So it was nice. But other than that, I guess just so I took off this week, whole weekend. I had off yesterday. I have off Thursday, which is today. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So this weekend, I'm actually going to try and hustle a little bit. I do have plans with friends on certain days, certain times, and stuff. But I want to try and work as much as possible this weekend with the hours that are allotted to me. Friday night, I'm going to try and pull a 12-hour shift. Maybe even do 14. See how much I can make. Like I said this morning, I had about 5 or 6 hours to kill in between to get done. So I pulled about, I think it was there 85? I think it was 85 for 4.5 hours. Or 90? Somewhere in there, I can't remember exactly. But I think I did a pretty good job this morning. Whoever's like to welcome everybody to the channel, like I said. If you are in the room, please feel free to say hi if you can. If you have any questions, I will try and answer. I'm actually driving to a friend's house right now. That's why I figured I'd do a live stream. See how many people want to come in and talk. But anyway, so yeah, that's my weekend. Just trying to drive as much as possible. For anybody that is watching right now, like I said, and I keep saying before, because I want to try and get as many people involved as possible. November 1st at 8 p.m. I will be doing a live stream. Okay. I will actually most likely be in Philly that weekend. How's it going, guys? 2-door car. No, you need a 4-door, Marlon. Check with your state. Check with Uber and Lyft. If you have to, call them and see what the oldest year is for your state as far as driving a car. But your car must have 4 doors. Okay, it must have 4 doors and 4 seats for X, and it must have 4 doors and 6 seats, or 6 seat belts, I should say, for XL. Philippines. Nice to meet you, Oreo milk. I could actually eat some Oreos and milk right now. So yeah, those are the basic requirements. I don't know what it is for your state, Marlon. Uber Eats, again, I'm not sure. I think for Uber in general, you need to qualify for, you should have 4 doors. I would say if you're just doing it for Uber Eats to make extra money, personally, in my opinion, I wouldn't do it because I don't really make make enough usually doing just Uber Eats. But I don't know how your market is, so I can't really tell you if it'd be worth it or not. But if you want to do it just for, yes, minivans are great. If you have an older one, when I first started, I had a 2004 Dodge Caravan. It sat 6. It was in actually really, really good condition. The only reason I got rid of it is because it aged out for my state. It was 15 years, and in January of last year, it aged out. So I had to get a newer vehicle, and that's when I decided to get a hybrid, just to save money on gas. So, yes, but minivans are really good. If you have a minivan for your family and you want to drive Uber and Lyft, I would highly recommend a minivan. You make more per mile, and you make more, like Uber charges the customers more for an XL versus an X. So yes, you do make a little bit of more money. If you are in a bigger city also, it makes sense. Some people don't like to wait for an X, and they will order an XL just to get the ride faster. So even if you are driving one person or 6 people, you're still making money. Plus, if you have a bigger van, if you have a big airport near you, you have space in your van for luggage. So, I mean, it does make sense. However, at the same time, a bigger van or a bigger SUV also wastes more money in gas. So you have to look at the overhead costs of gas. When I had my minivan, I was getting 15 miles to the gallon, and I was putting pretty much every single day. When I first started driving, I actually started driving really, really hard. And what I mean by that is I was putting on average 200 to 300 miles on my van a night, and that was pretty much one tank of gas. So I was putting anywhere between $30 and $40 a night in my tank, and I was probably making around $200 a night. So after that, for my gas expense, it was like $160 I was making, and after taxes, you're looking at maybe like 120. So is it worth it? Yes, because you get more. But at the same time, right now, I have no idea. I don't drive in New York. I have been to New York since Uber was there. Me personally, and this is just my personal opinion, New York is such a big city, and there's so much stuff to do there that, me personally, there's so many taxis around. It's easier if I'm standing on a street to just put my hand out and wait for a taxi than get on an app, order a ride, make sure the ride's the right ride. Like, personally, I'd rather just take a taxi. At the same time, depending on where you're going in New York City, it's even cheaper to take a train if you know the subway system. It's not really hard to figure out. Just for example, if you go there to visit and say you get a hotel in Manhattan, central Manhattan, near like Rockefeller Center or near Times Square, the one train literally goes the entire way down to the very bottom of Manhattan, which is where the 9/11 memorial is and all of that stuff. If you want to go out to the Statue of Liberty, that's where you take the ferry at the very bottom of the island, and it's a $3 ride. Like, anytime you get on to get into the subway, you have to get a Metro Pass. It's $3 per person. So if you have 4 people, you're looking at a $12 ride to get down and a $12 ride to get back. That same ride in a taxi, I don't even know how much it would be, but taxi or Uber, you're going to be looking at maybe $30, $40, $50 down and back, if not more. So it makes sense if you can figure out the metro system in New York. To me, it makes sense to just take the train. How's everybody doing today, guys? I'm going to be on a live stream now for probably the next 40 minutes or so. So if anybody has questions, feel free to ask. A lot of new things are coming out with Uber. I'm going to be going down to Philly in 2 weekends. What is it? Not October. Halloween weekend. So Halloween weekend, I'm going to be going down to Philly. I don't know if I get an Uber Pet ride. To anybody that doesn't know, Uber just came out with a thing called Uber Pet. They basically charge the customer anywhere between $3 and $5 more for the ride, and they can bring their dog or cat or whatever they want along. Personally, I don't mind it. I mean, as long as their dog is trained and doesn't bark or correct. Manhattan and Long Island are the two biggest. Manhattan and the 5 boroughs. Correction, Manhattan and the 4 boroughs extra. Those are pretty much the biggest population of New York. Everyone calls it New York City, but yeah, it's New York City, but there's 5 boroughs to New York City. So just remember that. But yeah, the rest of it is pretty much unpopulated. New York State is huge. But again, upper New York, near Buffalo and all that area, that's all a whole bunch of forest and tree land.
I-83 North Ramp to Harrisburg.
And it's beautiful. I wanted to go to the Finger Lakes. If you're looking for some place to ever visit, just Google the Finger Lakes in New York. It's beautiful. I want to go there so bad, or camp or whatever, but Niagara Falls. I want to do Niagara Falls, but I also want to do the Canadian side at some point. Yes, Newark is cold. That's why I want to go up in like June or July.
Continue on I-83 North for 20 miles.
So, do I have a problem? What do you mean? No, I don't have a problem. The one good thing I will say about New York and Boston and the upper, I'd say anything above Maryland, like Pennsylvania and higher, is in the wintertime, at least in my personal experience, in my area, once winter hits, people don't like walking. So the amount of rides, in my opinion, goes up, especially at nighttime, just because people don't like walking. So you might have shorter trips, but you'll have a lot more. So that's always a plus, especially if you're trying. Garrett, how's it going, guys? Oreo milk. Are you going to pick up any people? No, I'm not picking up people right now. I'm not on the clock. I'm driving from my house to a friend's house, and I haven't done a live stream in probably 4 or 5 days, so I just figured I'd go on and talk. I did drive this morning for 4 or 5 hours, and I think I made around $90, somewhere between 85 and 100. I can't remember exactly what it was, but like I said before, channel, welcome. I see there's 5 people now. There was only 2. I usually drive, I would say 80% of the time I drive for Uber, and the other 20% I drive for Lyft. So this morning to me was a complete opposite. I got a Lyft ride, so I accepted it and shut Uber off. And surprisingly, I kept getting Lyft rides back to back to the point where I could not get back onto Uber because Lyft just kept giving me rides. And they were pretty close together to the point where I accepted almost every single one of them. I did have one that was like 20 minutes away. I declined that ride for being too far, and 2 seconds later I got a ride that was 3 minutes away. So it just worked out really well for me that Lyft, in my area, who just asked? Somebody asked, is Lyft and Uber pay well? You got to look at it as a business standpoint. Laveza, whatever. What are you asking? You asked if I was good. Yes, I am good. You said, do you have a problem? I said no. Anyway, whatever. Oreo milk. It all depends on your market and your area, okay? You got to know your market well enough to be able to go on the times when it's busy. I do not drive when it's slow usually. And what I mean by that is I work full-time Monday through Friday. I work third shift. So I get off at 7 a.m. Usually I'll go out for 2 or 3 hours and usually I go out for an hour. I'll drive into where I think it's busy or where it usually is. Hi, Boba. And I will make one pass through my town, and if I don't get a ride, I'll go home. If I do get a ride, then I'll stay out and see what it's like. But normally I only drive Friday nights and Saturday nights from like 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. or like 10 to 2, 10 to 4. Usually like an 6 hour shift. But again, I usually stay out all depending on how busy it is. If I go 20 minutes without a ping, then I usually just go home. Once the bar scene's over at like 2:30. Oreo, yes, it is pretty late. But I usually sleep during the day. So like Friday, I'll get off in the morning and I'll go home and I'll run my errands, do what I need to do, get some stuff done, go to bed around noontime, and then I'll wake back up at like 6 or 7, get 7 hours of sleep, wake up, take a shower, eat some food, and then I'll start my night. Yes, I am a night owl. I usually love nights. Nights pay better. There's not as many, at least. There's not as many drivers on the road. Boba, have you not seen my very first video? I did get jumped, or tried to anyway. If you haven't seen it, feel free to leave the live stream, go watch it, and then come back. Yeah, my schedule, Oreo, is very wacky. I've learned to adapt to it though. Like I said, I work 10:30 to 7 during the week anyway. So I pretty much get sleep whenever I can. I have adapted my life around my job and rideshare. So for anybody that will tell you, in any major city, in any city in general, your busiest days, if you have a lot of Uber, like if you have a lot of riders, your busiest days. Yes, Boba. Well, I don't know, depending on where you're from, it probably didn't make your news. But yes, where I'm from, it made my news. Your busiest days driving are going to be Fridays and Saturday nights because that's when everybody is out drinking. They're also going to be, if you have any airports nearby, usually 4 a.m. till about 8 a.m. in the morning, people going to the airport. And then usually in the afternoon between the hours of 2 and 6 p.m., people getting off work and going home. So during the week, those are the hours. If you want to do this, if the only way that you can actually make money, in my opinion, with Uber and Lyft is whether you do it full-time or part-time, is if you actually start breaking it down analytically as far as thinking of it as a business. Think of it like you are not an employee working for Uber and Lyft, even though you do. You're not an employee, you're an independent contractor. So you need to think of your car as your business. You need to think of your gas that you're putting in your car as an expense that you spend to make money. So you need to actually, to anybody coming into this job, what I would recommend doing is every single night, what I always did when I first started was I would grab a notepad, okay? And at the beginning of the night, I would fill my tank up with gas. Fill it to the top, okay? I would drive however long I wanted to drive, and then on my way home, I would fill my tank back up to the top. And then what I would do is, whatever I filled my tank up with at the end of the night, that's what I spent on gas driving people around. So say at the beginning of the night I put $30 in my tank, I wouldn't count that because that, like, I didn't drive anybody around. But at the end of the night, say I was down half a tank and I put $15 in my tank, okay, I spent $15 on gas driving people around. So say I made $200, okay? And out of that $200, I'm just gonna roughly think in my area, about 30% is gonna go for taxes. So out of that $200, I only made $140 because of taxes. And then after that, I would take my 15 or $20 I spent in gas. So I may have made $200, but I really only made around 120. If that makes sense, okay? You also want to start thinking about if you buy anything for your business, as far as chargers, if you offer candy or drinks or any of that stuff, you need to add those into what you are making versus what you are spending. Okay, you don't want to spend more than you make. In my area, yes, like I said, I don't mind doing it. I love talking to new people. When I go to Philly a lot, I run into people from all over the world. I've talked to people from Sweden, from Canada. I had a couple from Brazil the one time. I've had a guy that was running late to the airport, and he was what the hell did he do? He was some type of instructor for a play group. Like if you ever go on a cruise, how they have the like the shows at night, or the theater shows. He was the guy that basically ran those, did all the lights and stuff for the entertainment. I drove a guy from Philly Airport to JFK one time. He was a pilot for one of the big airlines. So I talked to him for 2.5 hours about all of his experiences and things like that. So yeah, that to me was fun. I love talking to people, especially if they love talking back, just because everybody in life has different experiences, and I love hearing everybody's experiences. It's another reason why I like talking when I'm on YouTube. I like sometimes to just do these live chats like this to answer people's questions and hear what everybody has to say, because I like talking to different people. It's in the name. PA, Pennsylvania. So yeah. But like I said, guys, if you all drive for whether you drive or ride, yes, Philly is Philadelphia, Oreo. City of brotherly love. I do find in Philly, though, usually during the day, Uber is better than Lyft. However, in the morning, I don't know why, it's sometimes in the mornings, Lyft is actually more popular than Uber. I don't know, it all depends. Sorry, guys. It all depends on the time of day. Again, guys, if you are not subscribed to the channel and you want to do that, I would greatly appreciate it. The only way that people are ever going to hear about the things I have to talk about or any of the videos that you guys watch, if you think it's good, please do me a favor and hit the like button, because when you like it, the more people that like it, it goes into YouTube's like recommendations or whatever, and then my videos will get recommended to other people that watch the same kinds of videos. So therefore, it's one way for you to tell me that you love the content that I put out there is if you like it, and it's the best way for me to know what type of stuff you guys like. So yeah, there is a bunch of other YouTubers out there also that come out with the similar content that I do. If anybody doesn't know the story of how I got started, the very first video I put out there, a YouTuber by the name of Dustin is Driving asked me if he could borrow that as a training or teaching video, basically to just bring awareness to the situation. So he used my video and linked me to it, and that one video pretty much went super viral and is still going viral. I think last time I checked it had 2,010,000 views or something like that, and it's still climbing. I think it usually gets, I usually check it every couple days, and it's usually around 2,000 or 3,000 views a day, which is still insane. Laveza, what's your problem, dude? I don't have a problem. You asked me what I have a problem with. But yeah, Dustin is Driving pretty much brought the attention to that video and linked my original video to it. And with him making that go viral a little bit, it brought more subscribers to my channel. And ever since then, I pretty much decided to do YouTube whenever possible. So if I come across anything new, news-wise, or anything relatable to what I think my subscribers want to watch, then I will gladly post it. I will gladly talk about it and bring awareness to it, because I think Uber and Lyft, in my opinion, try to withhold as much information from their passengers and from their riders and drivers as possible, because they don't want us to know everything that's going on. A lot of people in my market, when I ask them what they think about AB5, they don't even have an idea of what it is or where it is. And that's pretty sad, because that bill alone will change probably the entire face of rideshare at one point. It's right now only affecting California. The whole thing that happened in New York last year with them making the pay rates and the pay structure and all that stuff, that can also affect everything. So these things that are happening in different states, even though it might not be your state, you're going to want to look out for it, because in the long run, at the end of the day, it can affect you. So don't be negligent to think that, oh, this isn't going to affect me, because it can. That's why a lot of us that do this, whether it's YouTube or not, we also have backup plans. Like I said, I work 40 hours a week, full time, somewhere else. I do this on the weekends, and I usually try to average anywhere between 200 and 300 on the weekend. It doesn't always happen like that. Some weekends I get less, some weekends I get more. The weekends I go down to Philly, I can usually get anywhere between $800 and $1,000 just on those weekends. That's before expenses. So yeah, those times, Philly Chuck, Exactly. Do what you need to do, man. I'm not going to knock anybody for hustling. Like I said, I work 40 hours a week at my full-time job. I do this weekends as much as possible. I do take breaks every now and again. But the weekends that I do this, I try to bring 200 to 300. When I go to Philly, I try to do between 8 and 1,000. But I also try to hold on 1 second, guys. Alright, sorry, my dash cam was driving me nuts. Dude, you hustling.
In 2 miles, use the left lane to take exit 41A for Pennsylvania
Chuck,
581 West
that is
toward
3 days,
I-81
Friday,
South,
Saturday,
Camp Hill.
Sunday. So, yes, it is hustling. Max I ever did was like 300 on a single night. Exactly. And if you do 300 on Friday, 300 on Saturday, 300 on Sunday, that's $900. But I usually, so when I go down there, Philly Chuck, I drive from 9 a.m. Friday morning, usually till about 3 or 4. Actually, probably about 3. So I'll drive 6 hours in the morning, and then I will go to my hotel, sleep from o'clock till about 9, or even 8, maybe 8 or 9, somewhere in that area. I'll sleep for like 5 hours. And then what I will do is I will go out from 9 till probably about 2 or 3. But the point is, usually when I go down to Philly, I have the expense of renting a hotel. So I'm already in the hole, like 100 to 150 bucks, depending on the weekend I go down.
For Pennsylvania 581 West toward
Sometimes in the
I-81
summer,
South, Camp Hill.
I'm in the hole 250. Again, on where I'm at. Where I get a hotel around Philly Airport or a little bit further out in Chester.
The left lane to take exit 41A.
But I have that expense already of anywhere between 100 to 200 for the weekend. So I like to drive as much as I can.
Continue on Pennsylvania.
With that being said, I do
miles.
usually drive anywhere from 12 to 14 hours a night, or a day, I mean. So what I will do is I will take breaks throughout the day. I will drive like 5 or 6 hours in the morning, and then I'll take like a 30 or 40 minute break, get some food, eat, stretch my legs, and then just keep doing the same thing. But I will definitely work like 9 a.m. to like 12 or 1 in the morning, go back to my hotel, sleep from like 12 to 6 in the morning on Sunday, 12 midnight, and then I will do the same thing on Saturday, and then Sunday I'll work from like 7 in the morning to maybe 4 in the afternoon. So yeah, I do hustle as much as I can, but I usually only do those weekends on the weekends I don't have my kids. So on the weekends I do have my kids, I usually don't drive. Sometimes I will go out for a little bit, but it's not near as much as I do. Those weekends I usually just stay home or stay local. So what's everybody up to today? Philly Chuck, do you drive for Uber or Lyft?
In half a mile, continue straight to stay.
Sorry guys, my was going through a hilly part and my stream cut
Continue
out.
on US
So I'm
11
sorry
south
for
for
that.
1.5 miles.
So yeah, like I said, when I do go to Philly, I usually hustle my ass off. Um, so I like getting. Sorry, Philly Chuck. Yeah, my stream cut out. So I'm gonna be on for another 5 or 6 minutes, and then I'm gonna get going, guys. But yes, when I drive, I try to hustle my ass. Like, I'm not here to just. I like to have fun with it. Downtown Philly, yes. It all depends on what's going on. Philly, I have found in so with Philly, usually when I get a hotel, I either get there's a couple hotels down by the airport in like is it Tinicum? Some yeah, I think that's how you say it. But I usually stay. There's also one or two in Springfield that I can find pretty cheap for like 45 to 50 bucks a night. So I stay there. Um, but West Philly, I have found is really, really good in the morning. Taking people in town and things like that. Um, I'm not really too familiar as far as where some of the ghettos are in Philly. I do try to stay a little bit out of North Philly. Fishtown, I've run in there, but I usually don't run in there that often. I usually try to keep myself in like South Philly, Center City.
In a quarter mile, use the left 2 lanes to turn left
a little
onto
bit of
Silver
North
Spring
Broad
Road.
Street. Usually what I do is in the mornings, if I am staying in a hotel near the airport, I will run past the
left 2
airport,
lanes to turn left onto Silver
and then
Spring
I
Road.
will take that up. I walk 95 the whole way straight up, get off at Broad Street, and just drive up Broad Street in the morning. See if I can get rides that way. Usually during the day, if it's slow and I can't get a ride, I'll usually sit at the train station. That's a really good place to pick rides up. Usually don't have to wait that long. At nighttime, if it's slow, I'll do the same thing because they have trains coming in and out all night. Plus, if you have to use the bathroom, I find her the cheapest. There is, what was it? I think it's Red Roof Inn. That is, what is it? Red Roof Inn Plus. It's right down past the airport. I forget what the city is. I think it's Chester, but I could be wrong. That's pretty cheap. I can usually get that for 50 or 60 bucks a night.
Road for 1.5 miles.
The other one is the Days Inn in Springfield. But again, I don't go to any of these places looking for Tinicum, exactly. I don't go to any of these hotels looking for a damn pool or refrigerator or any of this extra shit. If it was up to me, I've actually looked already at some of these places like Airbnb to find a bed or somewhere to stay. But I don't really trust Airbnbs. I don't know why. It's just something about sleeping in somebody else's bed I don't trust. Even though it's the hotel, you do the same thing. But I don't know. I don't trust them. Plus, you can find cheap Airbnbs in Philly, but most of them are in crappy areas, or there's no parking. You have to find places to park. So I just deal with hotels. What's up, Donnie? How's it going? Donnie. Anybody that has not checked out Donnie's channel, feel free to go check out Donnie.com. He is a pretty good character. I know you can't really see me right now, guys, and that is because I'm driving. But it was nice talking to you guys. The person, I can't remember their name, but they lived in the Philippines. Philly Chuck, Oreo Milk, it was nice talking to you. Whether or not you're still in here or not, I appreciate all the questions, and I'm glad I could answer them for you. Hopefully I did an okay job. If you have any other questions about things to do with rideshare, feel free to look through my videos, check the titles, and see if any of the titles might be a question that you need answered, and feel free to watch the video. Also, you can check out Dustin is Driving's channel, and there's a couple other good ones. Rideshare Revolutionary. He has really good information as far as driving or trying to maximize your income while you drive. I will put a link in the description below for all of the other side hustles that I have as far as what I do, because I do drive for Uber and Lyft when I'm driving, but I also have things in my car. I have something called a Play Octopus tablet.
Will be on the left.
Thank you, Donnie. I appreciate it. All of my videos, guys, have all of my side hustles in it. Okay, I have a really good insurance company. They do not offer rideshare insurance, so I do take a little bit of a risk with that. But if I'm driving with Uber and Lyft, I just have to pay a higher deductible.
Your destination is on the left.
I mean, that's whatever. But with that being said, I do so my insurance company is called Root Insurance. If anybody that wants to look into getting, if you do not drive for rideshare and you want cheap insurance that is actually half decent, I would recommend them. I also get paid referrals for anybody that signs up with my referral code. So that's one way I make extra money. I also make extra money with the Play Octopus tablet I have in my car. And I also have a couple other things that I make money with. And all of them are in the back of my car so passengers can see. So that's one thing that you need to do, man. Hustle as much as you can to make as much money as you can with the least amount of time. But I will see you guys later. Rideshare PA out. Have a good one, guys.